Hey there, parents and guardians. Let's talk about something truly exciting. Raising bilingual children in today's interconnected world. Can you imagine the doors this could open for your little ones? From appreciating diverse cultures to flexing their mental muscles, bilingualism is a gift that keeps on giving. First up, let's talk about the power of constant exposure. This is the foundation of any successful bilingual journey, and it's all about immersing your child in both languages, as much as possible from day one. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but I'm not fluent in the second language myself. Or, how can I possibly provide enough exposure when we live in a monolingual community? Don't worry, I've got you covered. The key is to get creative and make language learning a natural part of your daily life. Start by identifying all the opportunities for exposure that already exist in your routine, from the moment your child wakes up to the lullabies you sing them at bedtime. For example, you might start the day by greeting your little one in the target language, even if it's just a simple buenos dias or bonjour. Then as you go about your morning routine, try narrating your actions in the second language, like, "Mommy is pouring the milk," or "Let's put on your zapatos." As the day goes on, look for ways to integrate the target language into your child's playtime and learning activities. Maybe you have a special shelf of bilingual books in your living room, or you make a habit of singing songs in both languages during your daily walks. And don't forget about the power of technology. There are so many amazing language learning resources available online, from bilingual nursery rhymes on YouTube to interactive apps that gamify the learning process. Just be sure to use these tools as a supplement to, rather than a replacement for, real-life language exposure. The beauty of this approach is that it doesn't require you to be a native speaker or a language teacher. You can learn alongside your child and model the joy and curiosity that comes with exploring a new language together. And if you do have native speakers in your family or community, don't be afraid to lean on them for support. Invite grandma over for a weekly Spanish story time, or ask your bilingual neighbor to teach you some new words and phrases. The more exposure your child gets from a variety of sources, the better. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but what if my child starts mixing languages or making mistakes? Don't worry, that's totally normal. In fact, it's a sign that their bilingual brain is working hard to sort out the two language systems. Instead of correcting every mistake or getting frustrated, try to celebrate your child's efforts and focus on communication rather than perfection. If they use the wrong word or grammar structure, simply model the correct form in your response and keep the conversation flowing. For example, if your child says, "I want the rojo cup," you might reply with, "Okay, here's the red cup. It's a beautiful color, isn't it?" This way you're acknowledging their attempt, providing the correct vocabulary, and keeping the focus on the meaning rather than the form. Over time, with consistent exposure and positive reinforcement, your child's language skills will naturally grow and develop, and before you know it, you'll have a little bilingual superstar in your hands. But exposure is just one piece of the puzzle. Another key strategy for raising bilingual children is embracing the heritage language at home, especially if it's a minority language in your community. This can be a real challenge for families who are trying to maintain a language that's not widely spoken or supported in their area. But it's also an incredible opportunity to connect your child with their cultural roots and give them a sense of pride and identity. The key is to make the heritage language a valued and integral part of your family life. This means going beyond just exposure and actively using the language for real communication and bonding. For example, you might make a rule that everyone speaks the heritage language at the dinner table or during family game night. You can also create special traditions around the language, like having a monthly Heritage Culture Day, where you cook traditional foods, listen to music, and read stories from your cultural background. And don't forget to involve your child in the process. Ask them what kind of activities they'd like to do in the heritage language, and give them opportunities to take the lead. Maybe they want to put on a puppet show in Spanish for the whole family, or teach their favorite song to their monolingual friends. The more ownership and pride your child feels in their heritage language, the more motivated they'll be to use and develop it. And as a parent, you'll have the satisfaction of knowing that you're passing on a precious gift, the ability to connect with their roots and communicate with family members who may not speak the majority language. Of course, this doesn't mean you have to abandon the majority language altogether. It's all about finding a balance that works for your family and being intentional about creating space and time for the heritage language to thrive. One way to do this is to follow the one parent, one language (OPOL) approach. where each parent consistently speaks their native language to the child. This can be especially effective if both parents are fluent in different languages, as it allows the child to develop strong skills in both from an early age. For example, let's say mom is a native Spanish speaker and dad is a native English speaker. With OPOL, mom would always communicate with the child in Spanish, while dad would use English. This way, the child gets exposure to both languages in a natural, conversational context, and learns to associate each language with a specific parent. The beauty of OPOL is that it creates a clear language map for the child and helps prevent confusion or mixing between the two languages. It also allows each parent to bond with a child in their own native language, which can be a really special and meaningful experience. Of course, OPOL isn't the only way to support bilingual development at home. Some families prefer a mixed language policy, where both languages are used interchangeably by all family members. Others may choose to designate certain times for activities for each language, like speaking the heritage language on weekends or during cultural events. The key is to finding a strategy that feels authentic and sustainable for your family, and to be consistent in your approach. It's also important to keep in mind that bilingual development is a long-term process, and there may be ups and downs along the way. For example, you may notice that your child goes through periods of favoring one language over the other, or mixing the two languages more frequently. This is totally normal, and doesn't mean that your bilingual efforts are failing. In fact, code switching, mixing languages within a single conversation or sentence, is a common and natural part of bilingual development. It's a sign that your child is actively processing and navigating between the two language systems, and it's actually a pretty impressive cognitive feat. So instead of stressing about language purity or worrying that your child will get confused, try to embrace the messiness and creativity of the bilingual journey. Trust that with consistent exposure and support, your child's language skills will continue to grow and evolve over time. And remember, raising a bilingual child is not just about language development. It's also about fostering a sense of cultural identity and belonging. By embracing your heritage language at home, you're giving your child a powerful tool for connecting with their roots and feeling proud of who they are. So keep on speaking, singing, and storytelling in your native language, and watch as your child blossoms into a confident, culturally aware, and linguistically talented individual. It's a beautiful thing to witness, and you're playing a crucial role in making it happen. Whew, that was a lot of information unpacked, but I hope you're feeling inspired and empowered to dive into these first 3 strategies for raising bilingual children. Remember, constant exposure, embracing the heritage language, and finding a consistent approach that works for your family are all key ingredients for success. But don't worry if it feels overwhelming at first. Take it one step at a time, and celebrate the small victories along the way. And if you ever need a little extra encouragement or guidance, don't hesitate to reach out to other bilingual families or language learning resources for support. For our 3rd point, we're focusing on making language learning fun and engaging. This is so important because when children are having fun, they're more likely to stay motivated and interested in the learning process. Plus, by associating positive emotions with language learning, we're helping to create a lifelong love of languages that will serve them well into the future. One great way to make language learning fun is through music and movement. Kids love to sing, dance, and get their bodies moving. And there's actually a lot of research showing that physical movement can help reinforce learning and memory. So try incorporating bilingual songs and rhymes into your daily routines, and don't be afraid to get silly and expressive with your movements. Another fun idea is to create language-themed games and activities that your child can enjoy. This could be as simple as a bilingual version of Simon Says or I Spy, or as elaborate as a full-on language learning scavenger hunt around the house or neighborhood. The key is to get creative and tailor the activities to your child's interest and skill level. And of course, let's not forget the power of storytelling and imaginative play. Children are natural storytellers, and by encouraging them to create and act out stories in the target language, we're giving them a fun and engaging way to practice their language skills. You can start by reading bilingual storybooks together, and then encourage your child to retell the story in their own words or even create their own original tales. As your child gets older, you can also encourage them to write and illustrate their own bilingual stories, or even create short plays or skits to perform for family and friends. The possibilities are endless, and the more creative and interactive you can make the learning process, the more your child will enjoy and retain the language. Now, moving on to our 4th point, let's talk about maximizing language learning opportunities in daily life. This is all about being intentional and proactive and using the target language as much as possible, even in small, everyday moments. One great way to do this is to create a language-rich environment in your home. This means surrounding your child with books, music, movies, and other media in the target language, and making sure that they have easy access to these resources throughout the day. You can also label common objects and rooms in the house with bilingual labels, or create a special language learning corner, with toys, games, and activities that encourage language use. Another strategy is to make language learning a part of your daily routines and conversations. For example, when you're getting ready in the morning, you can talk about the clothes you're putting on or the weather outside, all in that target language. When you're cooking dinner together, you can discuss the ingredients and steps in the recipe, or even play a little guess the food game in the target language. And don't forget about the power of technology. There are so many great language learning apps, websites, and resources available these days, many of which are designed specifically for kids. You can incorporate these into your daily routines as well, whether it's listening to a bilingual podcast together in the car, or playing a language learning game on the tablet before bed. The key is to make language learning a natural and integrated part of your child's day, rather than a separate activity that feels forced or disconnected from their interests and experiences. By infusing language throughout your daily life, you're helping your child see the relevance and value of their bilingual skills in the real world. For our fifth point, we want to emphasize the importance of building a supportive language learning community. This is so crucial because language learning is not a solo journey, it's a social and interactive process that requires connection, encouragement, and shared experiences. One great way to build this community is to seek out other bilingual families in your area. Whether it's through local playgroups, cultural organizations, or even just informal meetups at the park or library. By connecting with other families who share your language goals and values, you can create opportunities for your children to practice their skills together, share resources and ideas, and feel a sense of belonging and validation in their bilingual identities. Another strategy is to get involved in your local bilingual education community. Whether it's through your child's school, a community language program, or even a virtual learning group. By advocating for bilingual education and resources in your area, you're not only supporting your own child's language development, but also helping to create a more inclusive and diverse learning environment for all. And of course, don't forget about the power of online communities and resources. There are so many great social media groups, forums, and websites out there dedicated to bilingual parenting and education, where you can connect with other families from around the world, share tips and challenges, and find new ideas and inspiration for your language learning journey. The key is to seek out these communities proactively and to make an effort to engage and contribute regularly. The more you put into these relationships and resources, the more you'll get out of them in terms of support, motivation, and practical strategies for your bilingual parenting journey. Fantastic! Let's keep the momentum going and dive into the final points of our bilingual parenting journey. We'll explore points 6 through 10 and then wrap up with a powerful conclusion to leave our audience feeling inspired and empowered. For our sixth point, we want to talk about the importance of consistency and commitment in the bilingual parenting journey. Raising a bilingual child is not a one-time event or a short-term project. It's a long-term investment that requires ongoing effort, dedication, and follow-through. One key aspect of this is creating a consistent language plan for your family and sticking to it as much as possible. This might involve setting specific goals and timelines for language learning, establishing clear rules and expectations around language use in the home, and creating a schedule or routine that ensures regular exposure and practice in both languages. Of course, life happens, and there will be times when your language plan gets disrupted or needs to be adjusted. But by having a clear framework in place and by communicating openly and honestly with your family about your language goals and priorities, you'll be better equipped to stay on track and make progress over time. Another important aspect of consistency is modeling the behavior and attitudes you want to see in your child. If you want your child to value and prioritize their bilingual skills, then it's important for you to do the same in your own life. This might mean making an effort to use the target language regularly, even if you're not fully fluent, or seeking out opportunities to learn and grow alongside your child. By showing your child that bilingualism is a valuable and achievable goal, and by consistently reinforcing the importance of language learning in your family life, you'll be setting them up for long-term success and motivation in their own language journey. Now moving on to our seventh point, let's talk about the role of culture in bilingual parenting. Language and culture are intimately connected, and by exposing your child to the cultures and traditions associated with their languages, you're helping them develop a deeper understanding and appreciation for the richness and diversity of the world around them. One great way to do this is to celebrate cultural holidays and events that are important to your family's heritage or language communities. This might involve attending local festivals or parades, cooking traditional foods together, or even traveling to countries where the target language is spoken. You can also incorporate cultural elements into your child's language learning through books, music, art, and other media that reflect the perspectives and experiences of people from those cultures. By exposing your child to a wide range of cultural inputs and influences, you're helping them develop a more nuanced and authentic understanding of the languages they're learning. Another important aspect of culture and bilingual parenting is fostering a sense of pride and identity in your child's multicultural background. This might involve encouraging them to share their language skills and cultural knowledge with others, or creating opportunities for them to connect with peers and role models who share similar backgrounds and experiences. By celebrating and validating your child's unique cultural identity, you're helping them develop a strong sense of self and belonging that will serve them well throughout their lives. For our 8th point, we want to emphasize the importance of advocating for your child's bilingual needs and rights in educational and social settings. While bilingualism is becoming more common and valued in parts of the world, there are still many challenges and barriers that bilingual families face in terms of access, resources, and support. One key way to advocate for your child is to be proactive in communicating with their teachers, school administrators, and other professionals about your family's language goals and needs. This might involve requesting bilingual resources or assessments, advocating for more inclusive language policies or programs, or even educating others about the benefits and realities of bilingualism. It's also important to be aware of your child's language rights and protections under the law, and to speak up if you feel that those rights are being violated or ignored. This might involve filing a complaint with the school district or seeking legal advice and support from organizations that specialize in language rights and advocacy. By being an active and vocal advocate for your child's bilingual needs and rights, you're not only supporting their individual language development, but also helping to create a more inclusive and equitable educational system for all multilingual learners. Now for our 9th point, let's talk about the role of technology in bilingual parenting. In today's digital age, there are more resources and tools available than ever before to support language learning and maintenance, and by leveraging these technologies strategically, you can enhance and extend your child's bilingual development in powerful ways. One great way to use technology is to provide your child with access to high-quality language learning apps, websites, and software that are designed specifically for their age and skill level. These might include interactive games, videos, and exercises that help build vocabulary, grammar, and comprehension skills in a fun and engaging way. You can also use technology to connect your child with native speakers and language communities around the world, through online language exchange programs, social media groups, or even virtual playdates and classes. By providing your child with opportunities to interact with diverse language models and peers, you're helping them develop more authentic and confident communication skills. Another powerful way to use technology is to create and share your own bilingual content and resources, such as family videos, podcasts, or blogs that showcase your child's language learning journey and experiences. By documenting and celebrating your child's bilingual milestones and achievements, you're not only reinforcing their motivation and pride, but also creating a valuable resource for other families on similar paths. Of course, it's important to use technology in moderation and balance, and to be mindful of the potential risks and challenges associated with screen time and online safety. But by being intentional and strategic in your use of digital tools and resources, you can significantly enhance and support your child's bilingual development in meaningful ways. Finally, for our 10th and final point, we want to leave you with a message of encouragement and inspiration. Raising a bilingual child is not always easy, and there will be times when you feel overwhelmed, frustrated, or even doubtful about your family's language journey. But we want to remind you that every effort you make, no matter how small or imperfect, is a valuable and worthwhile investment in your child's future. Every book you read together, every conversation you have in the target language, every cultural experience you share, all of these moments add up over time to create a rich and powerful foundation for your child's bilingual identity and skills. And even when progress feels slow or setbacks occur, remember that bilingualism is a lifelong journey and that every stage of the process is valuable and important in its own way. So keep going, keep learning, keep growing. And most importantly, keep celebrating the incredible gift of bilingualism that you're giving to your child and to the world. Because by raising a bilingual child, you're not only enriching their individual life, but also contributing to a more connected, compassionate, and culturally competent global community. And that, dear friends, is a legacy worth fighting for. As we come to the end of our journey together, we want to leave you with a few final thoughts and words of encouragement. First and foremost, remember that bilingualism is not a one-size-fits-all journey, and that every family's path will look different based on their unique circumstances, goals, and resources. There is no single right way to raise a bilingual child, and what works for one family may not work for another. The key is to stay open, flexible, and responsive to your child's individual needs and progress, and to trust your instincts as a parent and advocate. Secondly, don't be afraid to seek out support and resources when you need them. Whether it's joining a local bilingual parenting group, attending a workshop or conference on language learning, or simply reaching out to a trusted friend or mentor for advice and encouragement, remember that you are not alone in this journey. There is a vast and vibrant community of bilingual families and educators out there who are eager to share their knowledge, experience, and support with you. Finally, remember to celebrate and enjoy the journey itself, not just the destination. Bilingualism is not a finish line to be crossed or a trophy to be earned. It's a lifelong process of learning, growing and connecting with others across languages and cultures. So take time to savor the small moments of joy and progress along the way. The first time your child switches languages mid-sentence, the proud smile on their face when they teach you a new word or phrase. The warm feeling of connection when you share a cultural tradition or experience together. These are the moments that make the bilingual parenting journey so rich and rewarding, and they are the moments that your child will carry with them forever as they navigate their own unique path in the world. So, to all the bilingual parents and caregivers out there, thank you. Thank you for your dedication, your perseverance, and your unwavering commitment to your child's language development and cultural identity. You are making a difference, not only in your own family's life, but in the wider world as well. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep shining that bright bilingual light for all to see. The world needs more bridge builders and boundary crossers like you, and we are so grateful for all that you do. Here's to the beautiful, messy, wonderful journey of bilingual parenting. May it bring you joy, connection, and endless adventures along the way. Thank you for joining us on this journey today, and remember, you've got this.